Alright, first of all, a quick introduction. This video is actually a reply to someone asking a question about how to play a specific chord on Facebook in a music group. And the chord is B, D, F sharp, and G sharp. And those of you quick to notice might see that I'm in like classical position. My guitar is not sitting, not playing like this, because then it's going to be a lot more awkward. It's still doable. It's a bit more awkward because there are things I can't do. I'm going to talk in this video about dropping my shoulder. I think that's more tricky in this position. Whereas here, you can sort of go that way. When you need to do those kind of big stretches, it's easier to move your arm, shoulder, and everything around, as opposed to here where you're very locked in against your body, or it's getting awkward. So classical position for me is the way to go. So yeah, quick introduction on that. Just a quick note here. In the video I'm talking about dropping my shoulder, and when I talk about that, I don't mean like I'm not falling over like that, but I'm just moving myself kind of closer to the fretboard to avoid any unneeded tension anywhere. And to me, naturally, that would happen sort of just like that. That's the movement I'm talking about. About that, maybe. So, keep that in mind. I'm not talking about going not like that. Just find the point where there's as little tension as possible. And yeah, I think then slowly you can also start to back off again and find that you can play it. It's fine. I would not play it in this position though, because that's gonna lock in your movement quite a bit. I actually don't think that voicing itself is all that tricky or annoying, because you have the spread between the pinky and the ring finger and the index finger and the middle finger. So it's not too difficult. The spreads, for me at least, that are more difficult is when you have something awkward going on between the two middle fingers here. The middle finger and the ring finger. You could also play it up here, as someone mentioned. It's a bit easier. And someone else mentioned like the Petrucci exercises. You can do that just to get work on that stretch. So if you start on, say, the 13th fret of the A string, 12th of the D, and 11th of the G, and 10th of the B string, you can move your index finger one fret down from the 10th to the 9th fret. You could move your pinky up to the 14th fret instead of the 13th fret. Now you in fact have that chord there, but just up here instead. So yeah. And then you could move further than that. So you could move your index further fret down. You could move your pinky one fret further up to the 15th fret. And again, I'm moving my thumb around a bit, because to me, thumb placement shouldn't be static. If I'm playing like some chord up here, I might want to use my thumb and grab around there, and same if I'm bending, I'm moving it around there. But if I'm playing chords that require quite a stretch, I will definitely move my thumb further down. So for that kind of voicing, the right camera angle, I have it around, like maybe just below the middle. Same up here. And that helps me at least. But you can do those exercises that I talked about. So and you could even spread out in the fingers in between. Now I find the voicings that kind of have like spread voicings, find those kind of voicings cool too, and you can work on your finger spread with those voicings too. So instead of playing it like that, then you move the 12th fret of the B string, that note, the B note, to the 16th fret of the G string. So, and you can you can do minor chords as well, minor triad. Move that shape around. So, not just the shape, but like the inversions too. That sort of helped me. Yeah. But that's those kind of spread out voicings. We have root, fifth, and third up here. Not just spreading the fingers, but over an octave. Whereas when you turn it around and you have your pinky as the low nose and you're playing in that direction with the notes, they're going to be crammed more together. So because then you only have like a second, major second there, and you have a third there, another major second there. So yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. I hope this video made some kind of sense. Alright, bear with me, I only just got out of bed, my hands are ice cold and freezing. My guitar's probably out of tune for the same reason. Freestyling here. But I've been watching too much Harry Mack. I think most people should be able to do this, and I don't say this as some kind of giant guy. I'm saying this is a 5'10" guy with a relatively small pinky. Like that's not a pinky that stretches on forever. So I think a lot of it is in thumb placement and adjusting at your wrist, and it's sort of dropping your shoulder, stuff like that. To do those kind of stretchy chords. So if you started with like a D major triad, see, where do I place my thumb? It's right up there on the top line on my Ibanez guitar here. If I went to that, you can sort of already see I'm adjusting just slightly as I go. I don't put a lot of pressure on here. I don't tighten that up because then it's gonna feel awkward. Try to release as much tension as possible. Heck, you could even try to... I'm not good at this, but you could try removing the thumb completely. To kind of release that thumb pressure, but... it kind of... an adjustment in my wrist. Now, if I was to start with the same chord but add in the 9th there, or the B note, but the 9th fret, I'd slide my thumb all the way down to the middle there. And as I'm bringing in the 4th fret, I'm actually dropping my shoulder a bit. But on this first D major triad, I could wrap my thumb around if I wanted to. But then there's no way I'd be reaching that 9th. That's my max reach this way. And I'm not really getting the index finger further down, and maybe that at best. And it's hurting as hell. But as soon as I drop my thumb down and I start to, adjust my wrist a bit, and then I drop my shoulder, it's not that tricky. I know you need to execute it quicker maybe, but those are some tips to getting around that. To me, it's a whole body movement. And I think that's why, even if you had like stretches, which is an awful chord, but 10, 7, 8, 4. Ooh, hands are cold. But it's definitely doable. And I think a lot of it is in adjusting your wrist and placing the thumb and moving that. So yeah, those are some further tips to my other video, and yeah, let me know if you have any other questions. And I think, the same thing can be, when I'm doing those kind of stretchy voicings that I was talking about in the other video. I drop my thumb all the way back down there and get a good, maybe this is a good angle too. Just kind of straight down the neck. There we go. Let's just try that, see what happens. So, D major triad. Interesting. But yeah, those stretchy chords I was talking about in the first video, if you had like the D major, my thumb all the way down there. Currently I'm probably muting, I am muting the top strings, that's why I'm kind of lowering my fingers against the fretboard, so they're not ringing out. But if you wanted to open them up, you could maybe not a stretch for everyone right as they wake up, but it's I think it's definitely doable. And it's all about thumb placement. So those are the tips of the day. Let's just quickly, that Petrucci exercise I was talking about. So have that, then move the index down on fret. Now move the pinky. You see, when I'm actually adjusting my thumb when I move my pinky up, and I'm dropping the shoulder a bit. That's almost like a football term. Yeah, I hope this helps.